Yesterday, civil rights leaders and families and supporters of victims Eric Garner and Michael Brown held a national day of protest in Washington. Tens of thousands marched to demand better treatment for minorities at the hands of police. Among the speakers was Eric Garner's mother, Gwen.
And our sons, they may not be here in body, but they're here with us in each and every one of you. Y'all brought them here today.
And we turn now to the head of the National Urban League, one of the organizers of the march, Marc Morial. He is also the former mayor of New Orleans. He's also the husband of CBS News correspondent Michelle Miller. He joins us from New York. Mr. Morial, as a former mayor, what do you think that local governments need to do? What was the purpose of these protests, and what do you want to happen now?
So we have articulated 10 important points around police reform and police accountability. And I think that the changes that need to happen in this nation, and this is a moment when these changes are truly needed and necessary, have to be carried out not only in Washington by legislative changes, by the Justice Department or the president, but by mayors, police chiefs, and local communities. My experience in New Orleans taught me in the 90s when we basically engineered a comprehensive remake of the New Orleans Police Department that you can have a safe city and an accountable police department, and the two can go hand in hand. So the changes we seek obviously are a shift away from what I would call a broken windows or stop and frisk approach to policing to more of a community policing model, which focuses on violent crime, but also which builds relationships between police and the communities that they serve. Bob, this outpouring that you see, which is really an American movement of all backgrounds, races, colors, and religions, was sparked because we've had this seemingly unprecedented number of high-profile incidents where unarmed black men have been killed by the police, and there seems to not be any accountability for those actions. And the protests are really directed at the lack of accountability. So we're going to have to focus on what is needed to create a better system of accountability, since it appears that state grand juries are not inclined, even when in the Eric Garner case it was obvious to the world, to take action.
Well, let me ask you this. As you well know, the Department of Justice is investigating both of these cases. What if those investigations determine there was not wrongdoing on the part of the police? What will the reaction be in the black community?
Well, I think the reaction, not only in the black community, but I think in those that want accountability and justice in this nation, is going to be a great degree of disappointment. But I think it's premature to prejudge how those investigations might materialize. History, the Rodney King incident, the Abner Louima incident here in New York City, the Danziger Bridge incident in New Orleans indicated that in many cases where the Justice Department does step in after the fact, you can achieve justice. So I have great faith that the Attorney General, those local United States attorneys, are going to be completely thorough in their investigations, and that's really what we want. There are just so many questions around the grand jury system in Missouri, the grand jury system here in Staten Island. Indeed, even today, the prosecutor in Missouri had to apologize yesterday that there was some testimony that he didn't release when he said he had made all of the testimony public. So questions around state grand juries.
I'm very sorry, but we're going to have to stop it there. Thank you so much, and we'll be back in a minute.
Thanks for having me.